Nice.
You can hear this. You are not alone. This is the resistance.
What's up, everyone? This is Tim Man with the Resistance. If you're watching this, you are the Resistance and all that fun shit. We got Genevieve and Grandmaster and trying to get more people on, but yeah, again, that's always a pain in the ass. Why it's a pain in my ass, I do not know. It's just one of those fucking wonders of the universe.
Yeah. So, how are we going to start this off?
First of all, let's make sure that it's actually running on our fucking end.
Mm-hmm.
Play. It says it's not even connected. What the fuck?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, we're good. We're good. Yay.
We're always good, man. We're always good.
Oh, yeah. All right. So, Trump passed an executive order based on immigration. You know, he's trying to squeeze the illegal immigrants out of the United States, and a lot of the sanctuary cities and sanctuary states like California and so on and so forth are not happy about it, and they are all for defending the illegal immigrants. Thoughts?
Well, one issue we got is the sanctuary cities.
Yeah.
They are a huge, I mean, huge problem because if you're illegal and you break the law, say like you shoot somebody, basically you're given a pass,
Mm-hmm.
and you're arrested, then you let go. Then you commit another crime, you're arrested, then you let go. What the fuck do we need these goddamn securities for?
What I'm wondering is why we are having these sanctuary cities and sanctuary states for illegal immigrants.
I don't know. I think it's
protecting
stupid.
our own citizens.
I think it's stupid. One of the many reasons why I left California.
Well, here's one of the things that I'm thinking here. You know, a lot of people will say, "Oh, we shouldn't have borders. We shouldn't have these divisions," and blah blah blah. Well, here's the deal. We decided long ago that because everybody has a different idea of how they want to run their shit, that we should just have these borders and countries. Because the United States wants to do things their way, Mexico wants to do things their own way. All these countries want to do things their own individual way.
Mm-hmm. And then when
so we
the
can't
illegal
be
immigrants
a
come over
one-world
here,
society because everybody wants to run things a different way. And we allow people to run things their own way. Mexico run their shit their way. We run ours our way. Canada runs their shit their way. So on and so forth.
yeah, but the whole problem is that when those illegal immigrants come over here, they want us to change to their way, and that's not how it's supposed to be.
Well, here's a
You
question
come
for the
over here,
illegal
you change
immigrants.
ours.
You want it to be Mexico? Didn't you leave Mexico for a reason? Because shit over there just doesn't fucking work?
Exactly.
It didn't work for you? That's why you came over here? You know, I can understand having pride and all that shit, but if you left the fucking country for something better because the other side of the fence, because the grass was greener on the other side of the fence, don't try to make it like your home yard. Well,
Exactly.
that makes no fucking sense to me. Why would you want to do that?
Well, the reason why some of them did leave is that law enforcement over there is corrupted, is crooked, so is the government. because it's mostly run by the cartels.
Yeah.
It's not any better here in America. It's not any better
There's
here.
4 cartels in Mexico that's running each different part of Mexico right now.
Yeah. I mean, and that's a
Yeah,
big problem on both
yeah,
sides. And let's not
yeah.
mince words. You know, the cartel does run a lot of shit towards the border in San Diego and whatnot. You know, there is an influence there. Let's not lie and mince words. I'm wondering if maybe that's why California is so pro illegal immigrants, because the cartels got California legislators in their back pocket.
Exactly, and it's wrong. I left because it was getting so bad over in California that I couldn't raise my son. I really couldn't. I couldn't walk to the store without being afraid that someone's going to try and jump me for my fucking food stamps.
Yeah, that's really sad.
Yeah, well, that's Tenet.
It is sad anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
why do you think I wound up in Tennessee? You can't get a job because you're competing with the illegals. It's just bad juju all the way around. And just the liberal-minded, pro-immigration bullshit. You know, don't get me wrong. I have no problem against people coming to this country legally. It's coming over here illegally, working under the table, taking jobs away from people who are here legitimately and get passed over because they want to hire somebody who's illegal because they don't have to provide documentation, insurance, or a fair wage.
And it's cheaper, too, to hire them. But
yeah,
the
well,
thing
like
is
I said,
with
the whole fair wage thing.
And not to mention, it's so expensive to live out in California that it's ridiculous. You have to do like 3, 4 jobs just to make rent for 1 month.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, for a 1-bedroom apartment, you're paying, what, about $700, $800 on average?
No, 900 and something for a
About
studio.
9 something.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. It's increased that much?
Yeah. Out here where I am in Nebraska, we can get a 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment with a loft for like 800 and something dollars a month, and it's got like almost 1,000 square feet.
Yeah, guess how much my 1-bedroom mobile is?
I don't know, what?
$250
$400 a month?
$250 a month.
See, it's cheap.
Yeah. And jobs are easy to get out here.
Exactly. It's cheaper to get a job in the Mid East rather than in the West. And it's really not that great. I mean, the illegal immigrants, they try to come over, they come over here to get us better, and it's really not. And then they get all upset because it's not better.
Yeah.
It's not, I mean, it don't matter where you live. It may get better. It may not get better. I mean, it don't really matter where you go as long as you try to find a good, civil place for you and your son. And it's like when I was living in House City with my son and his mom, we were paying $400 a month, and we were living in my grandparents' house.
Yeah.
See,
for a few years.
It's ridiculous.
And we're paying $400 a month for a 3-bedroom. Well, the thing is, three ain't bad.
Oh, shit, my bad. Sorry, I gotta rejoin the call. Hit the button on my phone. Did it right here. Sorry, it displayed on my phone and I...
We can hear you, but we cannot see you, man.
Can you see me now?
No, we can't see you, dude. No, we cannot. No, we can't see you.
Why you not see me?
We can hear you, man, but we cannot see you, bro.
Okay, well, let me retry.
Do not turn to the light. Do not turn to the light. It is not there.
How about now?
Yes, now I can see you.
No. God did not pay for the power bill, man. What did you do?
How about now?
Can I see your man? What can I see your? What can I see your face, man?
Alright,
I
good.
can see him.
Well, we don't need to see me anyway, right? They see enough of me.
He did it again. God did not pay for the phone bill, man. He did not pay the phone. You cannot see the light.
Smart ass. Okay, here's a question for you. Being that there's so much rebellion from California and other sanctuary areas against Donald Trump for not only the immigration legislation but also other factors as well, and it has led to the threats of secession. These states
Yeah.
wanting to leave the union. Do you think that's going to happen?
They're gonna. I think they're all talk. They're not gonna do shit.
I got 3 words for that. Oh, a hell of fuck I know.
You don't think
I don't
that
think so.
you
I
don't
don't
think these
think so.
sovereigns?
I mean, they can try circle jerking to the blue in the face. I don't think that ever happened. No.
You think it's all bark and no bite?
It's all bark, no bite, but a lot of circle jerking.
Hmm. They're not gonna do it. They were threatening when Trump first became president, and they still didn't do it. They're not gonna do it now.
They threatened to break up in three states.
Yeah,
But
you'd have the
it
southern.
did not happen, man.
You would have the return of the Southern Confederate states. You'd have the Northern Union states, and then you'd have the Republic of
They
California.
need approval.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
But the thing is, I mean, they can try to say, well, we're going to concede, man. We're going to leave the union. Guess what? They ain't going to do it. They're all talk, no bark. They're all bark, no fight. I mean, it's all crappy ass threats to because they're not getting their they're not getting their way, man. They're not getting their way because they're crying in their side of clouds. I mean, it's all fucking nonsense bullshit. They're all talking out of their asshole and shit. Look at this. Nothing.
They're basically throwing a fit like a toddler because they don't get their way. And because mommy and daddy are fighting, they're going to fight as well. It's stupid. They need to stop. They need to grow the hell up.
Yeah. Well, do you think there would be a civil war at some point?
Not anytime soon.
That's a good question, but in the near future, maybe. But right now, I don't think so because I mean, right now we're doing pretty good right now. I mean, except we got these idiots who look like bipolar ninja wannabes and shit.
I love it. It's like Tommy Bird, Fat Ninja.
I mean, they're carrying signs. They're saying, "Fuck Trump, fuck Trump." I mean, look at it. These bipolar ninja wannabes are in front of traffic saying, "Please kill me, I'm retarded." What the hell, man?
Yeah, it's like hoping the pilot crashes the plane that you're on. Kind of silly.
They're in the street. They're in the street. They're going, "We are bipolar ninja wannabes. Every wannabes hit us." Come on, man.
Like, I can probably...
Trump may not be the best guy for president, but he's,
Well, I don't
in
know
my
what he's
opinion,
saying.
so
Some
far
of
he's
the
probably
like,
not the worst.
Like, some of the protesters do have valid fucking points, although Wisconsin's pointing out where it's hard to, like, back them or support them.
It is, yeah.
What was that, Genevieve?
My friend Channing has a counter for us.
Well, I mean,
Okay, let's hear it. Let's hear it. Put her on.
She says it depends on. So.
Don't put me on that.
Okay. She wants to know what our topic is. She just doesn't want to be on video.
Okay, the topic is the new executive order by Donald Trump in regards to immigration reform and how the sanctuary cities and states are responding to this new legislation.
Okay, see, I was told that you guys were speaking about protesting.
There was mention of protesting. There have been many protests and demonstrations. A lot of the states,
Been
such as
quite a bit, though.
California, have threatened to secede from the United States.
It's not a possibility. So,
It's not a possibility?
no. They're
Can-
not going to be able to do that. They can't stand on their own 2 feet financially.
Yeah.
Like, look at Texas as a perfect for instance. Like, with all the shit that's gone on there, they've taken national and government grants to recover and to rebuild and everything like that. They wouldn't have any of that if they succeeded. Become their own little country. They couldn't fucking afford it.
Yeah.
Nobody can.
Well,
So,
I mean, maybe if they had the other southern states joining them, but from what I heard, it would actually be like a 4-way split. You'd have the northern states, you'd have the southern Confederate states, you'd have Texas doing their own thing, and then you'd have the Republic of California, which I believe would actually entail Washington State as well.
I don't think all those states that you're talking about, though, actually agree that or believe that they want to succeed.
I think it's one of those things where it's more bark than bite.
Hold on, it's really loud there.
They're just dogs barking at cars.
Well, yeah, I agreed with that. I'm sorry, I was under the impression when you said protesting, we were talking about like Black Lives Matter or something like that. That's only.
Okay, well, we can talk about that. You know, there's a lot going on with that.
A lot of it. I mean, a lot of it, big time. I mean, they've gone after Trump supporters. They've gone after, a lot of people who are anti-Hillary and shit like that. So, it's just all nonsense. That it could be anything. Protest against this, that, whatever. It's all nonsense. Nonsense stuff. Right?
Yeah, well, you're always gonna have people who are gonna protest stupid shit.
So what of the BLM do you think is stupid shit that they're protesting?
Well, the whole Black Lives Matter thing, the whole premise behind that was they felt that the black community was being targeted by police. Now, granted, there are a lot of people who are a part of the black community and they become victims of police brutality. But what is being ignored in retrospect is that it's not just classified to the black community. Whites are victims of police brutality, Latinos, Asians. It's not a racial thing, it's a corruption thing. And I think that the whole Black Lives Matter movement is just, in many respects, a ruse to distract from the real problem. It's, oh, hey, let's make this a racial issue when it's more of a corruption issue.
I would agree with part of that, but not all of it. I think a lot of it, I think BLM started in a very, very positive place, and I think it has been corrupted since. There is actually a lot of racism that is still alive today and alive and well, and it's in a lot of very subtle ways. And I guess that's because, to be honest, I was not a supporter of Black Lives Matter at all when it first came out, and I can't tell you that I'm a supporter of it now. I'm not really sure. I'm still on the fence. But one of my really good friends is very Black Lives Matter supporter. She doesn't support Antifa, obviously, but she tries to explain to me all the time about where the racism lies and stuff like that. And I don't agree. Like I said, I don't agree with all of it. I lived in a very black community. I was the minority. And I got my ass beat every fucking day for being the only white kid for 8 blocks. I feel that was very racist. I feel that I was a victim of racism. However, I keep being told that it can't be racist if you're, not a minority.
Yeah.
I don't feel that that's accurate at all. However, I do believe that there is still a lot of racism out there, and especially she was trying to explain to me when you go into a grocery store, and or even a CVS or a Rite Aid, because I used to work at Rite Aid for 12 years. When you go to the hair and shampoo aisle, it's all white people product. They have their own aisle, ethnic aisle, for black hair care or Puerto Rican hair care. That is a subtlety of racism. Now, I, being white, don't understand that and didn't understand that when I was working there. However, why do they have their own aisle? It's like, I don't know. That's just how it's always been. At the same time, and here's the counterpoint, most black people don't go to CVS or Rite Aid to fucking buy hair care product. They go to, like, black stores. They go to stores that cater to the black community because they have more specialized hair care product.
Yeah.
But
And
on the
that,
counterpart of that, why don't they offer that? They have 8,000 different shampoos and conditioners for white people. Why don't they have it for black people in the store? And the whole matter of fact is it's not
That's a good question. I mean that's a good question. But what they're also ignoring is that there's a lot of black on black crimes. If you look at the gangs, look at the drug scene going on, you know, battle over territory, drug.
Right, but when that is,
and
it's easy to say that the black community creates that in their own communities. However, when that is something that has been rooted and established in those same communities for so long, and the cops can't control it, like the cops.
I think she froze. All right. Hello?
hello.
It's nothing. So when that happens,
It is very confusing.
yeah. So when that happens, though, and you have young African Americans that are growing up and they want more than what their family has, and all they see is drug dealers that are rocking Benzes and are like, I grew up in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's very easy to get sucked into it because that seems like the only future you have. And it's really hard because I went to the same schools and the teachers are telling you, ignore the drugs, ignore this, study hard, get into school, get scholarships. But when that's always in your face is the drug trade and the crime. And, I know this kid who was sweet as could be, and he ended up going to jail by the time he was 16 just because in his neighborhood he had to act different or else he was going to get fucking hurt. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I feel like people who come in that environment.
It's a product of the environment. You're a product of your own environment, is what you're saying.
Correct. You are. And until the government or the police or the city can get in there and get a fucking handle on it, that's all these kids have. And then the parents are at a loss because they don't fucking, the kids don't listen to the parents because the parents are working 3 or 4 jobs just to put food on the table.
Yeah, and then like what we were talking about last week, the whole spanking thing, the government stepping in on that.
That's not their fucking right, and they need to back the fuck off my parenting skills.
Yeah, I think if a lot of kids got their asses beat and were taught to toe the line in their younger years, maybe we wouldn't have as many problems as we have now. I'm not saying that it would completely eliminate problems as a whole, but it would probably put a fairly decent dent in the problems.
I think the biggest problem is self-accountability and the lack of respect in our entire society. Those two things, without them, you have nothing but anarchy and chaos. So,
yeah.
A lot of that started when the government started stepping in and saying you can't do this, you can't do that as far as parenting. A lot of it also started when you're starting to misdiagnose and diagnosing children at the age of 6 and putting them on fucking drugs that they don't need to be in, all the other chemicals that they're adding to our food. Like, all of that plays a part in our biology. Like, sorry, I'm a science freak and I go to school for science. So, all of that weighs in.
A woman after my own heart here. Seriously.
I'm on my third husband, so if you make more money than him and you treat me better, I'm willing to upgrade, just so you know.
Well, in retrospect, I agree with where you're going, especially with the psychotropic medications. There's an old saying, there's more money to be made in treating a disease for a lifetime than there is in curing it in a day.
Absolutely. There is.
And I think that's where a lot of your suicide and potentially homicide rates come in, because you got these psychotropic medications that say side effects may include suicide and homicidal tendencies.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm taking these pills that are supposed to make me happy, and then next thing you know, I'm slitting my fucking wrist in the bathtub after I shot up a school. It's like, yeah, this medication's great.
Right there.
Let's prescribe it to everybody.
My husband and I were talking the other day about if you look at the decline in, like, we were watching that video. It was all over Facebook and YouTube. It's a clip from a movie. I don't know the guy's name, where he was talking about, America's not the greatest country in the in the world anymore. Do you guys know what clip I'm talking about?
Yes.
That would be Jeff Daniels. He was on the stage. He was talking about how the girl asked about
the sorority girl.
yeah. So she asked a question about do we live in the best country in the world, and I sat there and I watched it and I heard about the statistics on on each statistic made a lot of sense. I mean, we have more people in prison per capita.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, we are the only country that puts people away for something so freaking small.
Yep.
And the bigger crimes, I mean, you can commit the most heinous crime known to man, known to life itself. It could be a murderer. It could be
a rapist.
Yeah,
Rapist. I'm pretty sure that's up there with murder.
You could commit fraud. I mean, you could commit the most heinous crime ever, and which lasts you 25 years of life. You're only getting under, but not even 30 years. Now, if you're a hacker, if you have carried on the thing of weed, whatever, you're getting 35 years, 40 years.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think that's stupid. I mean, I'm sorry to cut you off, ma'am. In California, weed is legal there now, correct, Grandmaster Evan?
Yes, it is.
Here in Tennessee, it is still illegal. It is right up there with methamphetamines, crack, cocaine, all that shit.
Same here in Nebraska. And we have someone in my building that smokes weed, and when they smoke weed, it gets into my daughter's room, the smell of it, and it infuses her clothing. And I've had to call the cops, and I even put notes up all over the apartment, and I ended up going downstairs and just screaming into the whole building, not screaming, but like loudly speaking. And I'm like, look, I don't give a shit that you fucking smoke weed. Personally, I think it shouldn't be illegal. However, they'll take my fucking kid away if I take her to preschool and she smells like fucking pot. Like, you're threatening, like, they'll take my kid for that.
Yeah, it's like your stupidity is threatening my stability.
The one thing that really bugs me is that they have marijuana as Schedule 1 and meth and heroin else as Schedule 2. Pot is a gateway drug. Bullshit.
Yeah, they say marijuana leads to other drugs. No, it leads to fucking carpentry.
But
like, seriously.
I mean,
I fucking smoke a joint and I go, this can would make an excellent bomb. Grandmaster Revan's head would make an excellent bomb. Hey, that's just how it fucking goes. You know, that's why I quit smoking weed for a long time. Not because I didn't like it, but because I didn't want to fucking build anything.
But you remember that clip I was talking about, right? And you remember talking about, we used to, praise intelligence, now we belittle it and all this other shit. What happened, what my husband and I were talking about is if you notice the decline in people that were actually informed citizens and those that participated in the government started the decline once street drugs started flooding the streets. Yeah. So now we have everyone that's hooked on something, either oxy or heroin or fucking crack or anything. That's because there's a government that's governing fucking drug addicts and morons because we're so goddamn fried, and no one can tell truth anymore because they're so fucked up. Between all the mental illnesses that you see taking effect nowadays, that's coming from somewhere. It's not all just genetics. Like West Virginia aside, we're not all fucking sitting here inbreeding. You know what I'm saying? Like, sorry, I'm from Virginia. I have huge hate for West Virginia.
I live in the South, too. I'm in an area of Tennessee where everybody knows everybody, and more often than not are probably related to everybody in some form or fashion. So I get it.
I live in the meth capital of the country here. I live in Fresno, California. I live in Fresno, California, which is the meth capital of the world. Okay, capital meth.
Yeah, like we get it.
And
funny thing is about the whole incest, inbreeding thing, and mental illness. Surprisingly enough, I've actually done some research on this because Grandma's remember, you remember this, we were talking about researching mental stability and the causes of very mental illness.
Hell yeah.
We discovered that, as per the statistics, there are substantially lower retardation in regards to inbreeding, even close sibling or family inbreeding, such as siblings or parent to children inbreeding. The retardation birth rate is substantially lower than is initially being publicized. In fact, most of the retardation is a result of vaccination occurring after the birth.
See, I would disagree with that. I would very much disagree with that. There's been no actual research. The only research that puts vaccinations as a negative has been from one doctor who was not even his studies had nothing to do with that, and he's been completely disproven by the scientific community.
Big time.
Like, I hate to disagree with you on the first time meet, but I wouldn't.
In my opinion, everybody's entitled to their opinion, and if you got facts that I'm not aware of, or vice versa, definitely share. We are all about open information.
I'm just saying, like, I don't have my little notebook on me, but I'm just saying, there was, it's been very, because we were just talking about it in my class. I'm taking a psych class because I'm studying to be a psychologist. We were going over, and this was a couple weeks ago, so all the things are jumbled, but, we were going over all the facts. The doctor who actually publicized that vaccinations cause all these problems and all these autism and claimed all this other shit. He actually, no one could get those results again. Like, they were testing, they were doing exactly what he did, and they couldn't get the same results. And so other scientists were like, dude, what the fuck? We're not getting the same results as you. Are we doing this correctly? He ended up openly admitting to the scientific community, and there's research on it. There's papers and affidavits and everything where he states that he made up his material, he made up his research. And unfortunately, so many people, because we're in this era with the anti-vaxxers and the anti-this and the government's conspiracy, and trust me, I believe conspiracy theories all fucking day. As far as vaccinations are concerned, however, there's so many people that it took too long for him to recant his experiment and his research that now there's so many people that just blindly are believing
that
vaccinations
his name was
are causing
Andrew Wakefield?
Stop. I'm sorry?
The doctor in question, his name is Andrew Wakefield?
I'm not sure the exact name.
Okay, his name pops up on a Wikipedia search. I just did a Google search, and this is on the screen, so you can actually watch the video later if you want. I Google searched doctor who said vaccinations cause autism. And the third link down is Andrew Wakefield Wikipedia. The medical school said that he had left by mutual agreement in February 2002. Wakefield stated what probably this crisis was the removal of single vaccines. It's very subjective. MMR fraud doctor Andrew Wakefield returns to UK for secretive something. It doesn't say. It says secretive.
You're not looking at scientific research sites. If you actually look at valid resources, Wikipedia is great for a quick reference, but I wouldn't recommend that when you're.
Well, I'm not on Wikipedia. I just did a quick Google search. It says doctor who said vaccinations cause autism. Because I know that's a main factor. Now, I was vaccinated and I don't have autism, but I see a lot of for, I see a lot of against. In this instance, I'm seeing a lot of against. But
but when you look at a lot of the people who support anti-vaxxing, it's because they're following this guy wrote fucking books, and then people that followed his research wrote books. And, okay, I guess I'm blocking the mic, I'm sorry. So
You're
these
good.
people, like, he wrote a book about it, and then people who followed his research wrote more books about it because that's what people do. They're like, oh, I read this and I have opinions, so I'm going to write a book. So there's all these books and all these people that are like, oh, anti-vaccine, like, don't vaccinate, don't vaccinate. And the whole thing is, it all started because of this guy's made-up fucking research, and there's no actual scientific proof that it causes anything. There is one study that came out recently, and again, I suck at remembering facts, and had I known I was going to be put on this thing, I would have probably researched a little better, but this was completely spontaneous. But there was a research that said for African American boys, one of the vaccinations have a higher chance of causing something, and that's due to just straight up chemical and genetic differences. So there is a vaccination out there that does have a higher risk for African American boys. I will state that. But as far as everyone else goes, like, I mean, my friend Chelsea doesn't vaccinate her kid because when Chelsea was vaccinated, she almost died because she had an allergic reaction. There are children that should not be vaccinated because of allergic reactions. Aside from that, unfortunately, I am still totally 100% convinced based on scientific evidence that the anti-vaccine movement is very dangerous and almost neglectful. Like, it's I don't know. I would just hate to see one of their children or my child or somebody fucking die because of an outbreak.
My son, we vaccinated my son after he was born. He's 18 now. He's going to college, and he's doing good, doing real good. And on that issue, I'm kind of, I don't know. I mean,
it's still one of those things. It's too early on to make an official determination. I mean, there are arguments for, there are arguments against. And at this point, it's up to the individual to decide what they want to believe.
Absolutely.
Me personally, I think there's an interesting correlation between the increase in vaccination demand and more vaccinations and the increase in autistic children and also the development of cancers in younger and younger people.
That could also be explained with all the shit that they're putting in your food. I mean, look at the shit they're feeding our kids in public school. I mean, I remember going to school and they said they were chicken nuggets, hamburger, whatever, and the lunch lady told my mother it was all ostrich meat. I mean, they could make ostrich meat look like fucking anything.
Whoa.
Because it's so, like, they don't tell you what they're fucking feeding your kids. You assume that all of our tactics are going for great, nutritious stuff, but it's not. Look at all the other shit that kids are eating nowadays, child obesity, all the chemicals that are in all of that stuff. Like, before people are attacking, like, I understand that vaccinations are medical, and I understand that they're injecting our children with some crazy fucking shit. But it's not always simple, because that shit is so much more easily to understand, oh, autism is being caused because they're putting chemicals in my kid, versus, oh, the food that we're buying that everyone supplies is safe, right? That's why they're selling it. But look at all the shit they put in fucking milk. You have 8-year-old girls that are developing breasts because of all the hormones that are in fucking milk alone. I mean, it's increasing menstruation in young children. I mean, the food, in my opinion, is the biggest thing that we should be looking for. Like, and this is something, I don't know. I think vaccinations are getting a bad rap just because they're scary.
Yeah, vaccinations have a
and it's only once. You get vaccinations for such a short period of time. I mean, look at all the arson. There was Infamil had a recall over. I don't even want to give you a number, but they had to recall somebody because there was arsenic or whatever that contaminated baby formula.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's fucking insane, but we're gonna just go ahead and blame vaccinations because vaccination. You know what I'm saying?
Well, vaccination's just one variable, but we also have food, like you've been talking about. All the compounds that they are putting in cow and chicken feed to boost their growth for production purposes, and we also have the crop industry and Monsanto's involvement and all that's causing problems.
You know what?
Fluoride?
Yeah, the fluoride and other chemical agents in the water. Yeah, I mean, I can't even drink straight water anymore. I mean, I have to have it diluted with, like, I get those freaking, like, Mio drop things, but I do it with, like, Kool-Aid. And
So
I drink that shit at work.
I'm sorry, you guys are lagging out. So if I'm interrupting you, I'm so sorry. It's showing you guys not talking.
You're good. You're fine.
I'm good.
Assuming
We're
that
good.
based
We're
on
good.
this conversation, you guys have read that based on any small geographic area, like for instance, Omaha and its surrounding areas, right? If there's a condition that a high population have within that small area, like for instance, low iron. So nation has low iron, they add iron to the water. So, but they don't tell you about it. So then the people that have high iron and take medication for it don't know.
Yeah.
And they have health problems because of it. And that happens countrywide.
Oh, yeah.
That's the government trying to help without letting us know. And what this all boils down to, everything that we've talked about, because I've got to go soon, is that the government is overreaching and they're violating what they were fucking there to do. So
yeah, the government's a little bit getting a little bit too big for its britches.
They're probably trying to depopulate, probably.
Well, that's kind of been the whole consensus of the quote conspiracy theory community, is that the elitists, the people in power, the higher ups, you know, the richest motherfuckers in the world, the politicians, and so on and so forth, decided so long ago that humanity is way too sick to survive and needs to be reduced to a manageable level, which is, I think, about 20% of what is currently the human population.
Easiest way to get rid of us is the flu shot. I don't give my child the flu shot ever, and I never take it for that very reason. So anyway, it was lovely talking to you guys. I'm freezing my little toes off, so bye. Thanks for letting me chat.
Hey, it's no problem. Pleasure to have you on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you. Still streaming? Yeah. Oh,
I told you.
now I'm gonna be on a fucking watch group.
No, you're not.
Your friend is very interesting. I like a lot of the points that she made. You know, she was there to present a very different point of view, and unlike certain people that we dealt with in the past, they didn't impose their view and say, I'm right, you're wrong. It was actually a very intelligent, productive discussion.
Now you know why I like hanging out with her.
Definitely good people there. Keep her around.
Keeping her in my life as long as I possibly can.
She seems like good people. She definitely seems like good people.
She is. She's a very good person. As a matter of fact, she's helped me with Bradley and his behavioral problems as best as she could. But now it's starting. It's not starting to work. It's not working on Bradley anymore. So I have to take him to a family therapist to find out what's going on.
Ask a lot of questions, darling. Ask a lot of questions, man.
Yep. Well, there's a lot of issues.
Too.
There's a lot of issues that I wonder, you know, like with mental illness. I wonder if a lot of these problems are not a result of taking medication for other problems. Like, I've got a friend, I'm not going to say who they are, but they take medication for ADD and ADHD and have been recently diagnosed with borderline personality disorder and are having memory lapses and are having all sorts of issues as a result of what is classified as borderline personality disorder. Now, borderline personality disorder is said to be caused by, you know, abusive circumstances or traumatic experiences, which this individual has suffered, but I often wonder if maybe a lot of these factors could have been averted if they weren't taking certain medications.
Well, see, for me, I was diagnosed with depression and hallucinations at 18, and they first gave me Risperidol and Paxil. They took me off the Paxil because it made me worse, and it made me into a zombie. And then they replaced the Paxil with Risperidol, and the risperidol, it worked for a little while. They kept upping the dosage whenever I would show signs of reverting back. And it finally got up to the point with the Zoloft of the Zoloft and risperidol where it was like, I was taking like 50 milligrams of Zoloft and 25 milligrams of risperidol, and it just made me 100% worse. It wasn't helping anything. And then they decided to use me as a guinea pig for Abilify back in 2006. And
Oh, God,
yeah,
no.
it sucked. I hated it.
Darling, I'm taking 10 milligrams of Zoloft. 10 milligrams.
It sucks. I don't like it.
And I'm taking 10 milligrams of Zoloft and 20 milligrams of Risperidol. And it is helping me very well. And I'm also on Tegretol, which is a really big help for me.
That ups the that is supposed to be in with the risperidol and Zoloft, but before that was put out there to be mixed with it, they decided to change me to Abilify, which now is being used for an anti-bipolar medicine.
Were you diagnosed with bipolarism?
Not until 2013, after I had my son, where the military diagnosed me with schizoaffect, which is a mixture of bipolar, multiple personality disorder, paranoid schizophrenia, anxiety, depression, which includes the suicidal and homicidal thoughts and tendencies, and which ultimately makes it illegal for me to have any job in any kind of customer service, because I am a danger to myself and others.
When I was a teenager, when I first was diagnosed with Tourette's, I have Tourette's syndrome, and I was given clonidine and Haldol, which was a very, very dangerous combination. I mean, it was very dangerous. It was so bad that I was hitting people. I mean, literally hitting people.
Yeah, Haldol does that. When it's mixed with anything, Haldol does that.
I've hit my mom. I've hit my sister.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a scary thing. I mean, I felt like I was dropping acid like crazy and shit. And it was a very, very scary thing. When my doctor told me, hey, look, we need to give you off the stuff because it make me look like I was like a monster. I mean, I was scary to be around, and it was very terrifying even for me.
Yeah.
And
those medications can fuck you up, dude.
And so the one thing that saved my life was my dad beating my ass.
Mm-hmm.
My dad beat my ass, and it saved my life, and it also turned me out to be a better person.
Mm-hmm.
I needed my dad to whip my ass, you know. But my son, he was diagnosed with Tourette's years ago, and he was put on clonidine for a while. Then he was put off clonidine.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like a good feeling for me because when I was on clonidine, I was not happy at all. Period. I mean, I hated it.
Yeah, you were from choice before, but you're not anymore. Sorry, my son just woke up.
It's good. It's all right. It's all right.
Yeah, I mean, I think we pretty much kind of gone as far as we can with this roundtable. I mean,
yeah, for
we've
now.
addressed a lot of the issues that we wanted to address. Sorry that we couldn't get Curtis and the others on.
Yeah.
I'd really like to get more people involved in the roundtable. It's just people's availability, I understand, is always a variable. And right now, I'm freaking drunk. I haven't eaten anything, and I'm drunk again. 3 beers in, I'm happy birthday. I'm a fucking lightweight. Screw the medication. Give me alcohol all day. I'll be a happy motherfucker. Seriously, Genevieve, if it were back in the day and people had just given me alcohol, I probably wouldn't. You and I would probably be married right now, huh? That's the sad truth.
Probably.
Yeah, give me alcohol. I'm a happy motherfucker.
Yep.
I'm not an angry drunk. I will be Mr. Happy Person. Unless you give me vodka, which one I turn into a cereal.
I'm more of a gassy drunk, man.
Just give me a few beers, and I'm like, yay. I think I see the inside of a refrigerator.
This is all sugar. I'm a crying drunk kind of guy.
Oh shit! Don't make me shoot you in the butt with my bow and arrow.
I'm not just a crying drunk, but also a farting drunk, and also a smart ass too.
I'm just your average horny happy drunk.
I'm the kind of drunk that will rat you out if you were cheating on your spouse.
Remind me not to share any secrets with you while we're drinking. But in all seriousness, I think we can pretty much call it a night.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've got to go get my laundry over at Destiny's, and they got food, so I'm gonna eat.
Okay.
So, this is Tim Evans with the Resistance, Genevieve, Grandmaster Oven. Always a pleasure. If you're watching this, you are the Resistance. And